Oh, stop it. All right. Well, this is weird for me because this is my last week being here regularly, moving off to college on Wednesday. So this is kind of all strange for me and everything. So bear with me. I'm kind of nervous. So we're going to go way back to fall of 2003. Yeah. Okay. So in fall of 2003, Kaylee was moving to go to junior high, and so she would be going to a different school kind of further away from our house, and I was still going to be going to elementary, and so to walk home really wasn't working for us and everything, but my dad had already been teaching at Holiday for a couple years, so we had the idea, okay, well, we'll just move out to Holiday to go to school. We'll still live in Wichita and everything, but we'll go out to school in Holiday. And so right there at the beginning, God's plan started to work little by little and everything. So in fall of 2003, moved out here to Holiday School in fourth grade. But it wasn't until spring of 2006 that we actually moved houses out here. And so we came out here in the spring. We kind of just got used to the community. It was really weird going from a city to a really rural setting. I didn't like the tarantulas, still don't. But eventually, it got really hard to keep going to church in Wichita, so we wanted to see about coming to church around here in Holiday and everything, so we just kind of looked around. I know there's a lot of venues out here, so, Kaylee had a lot of friends here at Cross Country, so she kind of went here, and I had all my friends over at First Baptist, so I kind of went there, and that's how things kind of went for a while. But what was weird is every now and then I'd come over here, and this place was so weird. Don't even get me started. There was this really like tall guy standing up here who would look right at me every time he made a point. There was a really short guy who did the youth, and he would always get like really upset at people. He always called it prison ministry. There was a guy who got off drugs, and he got out of prison, and now he said he was walking with the Lord, and he was asking me if I was walking with the Lord, and I was like, that's a weird question to ask and everything, and it was all just really weird. The reason why it was so weird to me was because it was something I never really fully experienced up until that point, was what it was to be real. What it was to be real Christian, walking out your faith on fire and not having any restrictions, not just playing church, not putting on some stained glass masquerade, but actually just being humans and being real about a God who's real. So God's kind of funny in his ways and everything. So eventually, after going Wednesdays and Sundays over at another church, my mom was like, let's go to church together more often. So just little by little, we started coming here, and so then it kind of became a regular thing where I came here every Sunday. And so, I kept on going with that and kept on going with that, and then my freshman year, towards the end of my freshman year, my sister had gone on a camp, and she's like, Kyle, you got to go to this thing. And I was like, what is it? And she's like, it's called the Chrysalis. And I was like, what in the world does that mean? And she's like, it's this really cool camp, and you're there for a weekend, and it's so amazing, and I really want you to experience it. And I was like, all right, well, I don't have anything to lose. So, I get there, and oh my gosh, all these people work it. All these people from this church that are all weird, they all work it. It's like going to I don't know. So, it was kind of weird, just like being around these people even more, but, I ended up kind of liking it. And at this Chrysalis, I felt something different that I really had never felt before. It was God's calling on my life. Up until that point, I had wanted to be a meteorologist. I loved weather and everything, and that was my passion. It's like, yeah, I'm going to go to OU and get a degree in meteorology and become Skip McBride. That was my goal. But I was sitting there in the chapel one night during the prodigal talk, and God started to really, just tug at my heart, and he's like, I want you to follow me. I want you to do my will for a living. I want you to go out. I want you to present the gospel to people. And so I was like, I have no idea how to do that. I really don't like getting in front of people speaking. That's not really my thing. But sure, why not? So that summer, I created my first drama. Y'all seen some of the dramas we do here at church and everything. And so that summer, right after the chrysalis, I made my first drama to the song Set Me Free by Casting Crowns. And the first time I ever got in front of people to speak and do a message on the gospel of Christ was here in August of '09 when I brought people from First Baptist for my drama over here to the youth one night. And I got to, after the drama, I got to get up and present a message. And I cannot begin to describe the feeling of joy and just purpose that came out of that. Like right when I got done speaking, I was like, this is what I'm supposed to do. I could tell it, and I felt God's peace just flowing through me. And from there, it kind of really exploded. You know, I was asked to do random Wednesday nights, do memory verses. I've got to work on the chrysalis, you know, the thing that changed my life, which was a huge blessing just to be able to work those. Got to do a devotional, and then I got to do a youth service, and then I even got to do the Sunday service while we were trapped in a hurricane in Belize. I mean, like just one after another and after another, I was given all these opportunities from this church to be able to do what God called me to do. And so, I mean, I guess soon enough I became one of the weird ones myself. But kind of pulling us forward a couple more years, October of this year, October of 11, last October, things kind of started going downhill for me. Things started kind of getting harder, and I kind of entered a period of my life where a fellowship kind of broke away from me, and I started going through a lot of really, really tough things. People telling me, you know, just being persecuting, you know, saying you can't do it, and, you know, you think you're Jesus, but you're not, and you're going to be a cult leader one day. And, I mean, people would tell me things like this over and over and over, and it was really just starting to get me down. And, I mean, the Bible says we're going to face persecution, and I was living right in the midst of it. And so one morning I woke up, and I had 27 text messages. And I thought, oh, my gosh, these people who are persecuting me, they're still, like, messaging me. They're still trying to put me down because I kept on getting text messages from people. And I opened up my phone, and it was 27 people from this church just saying, you can do it. 27 people from this church saying that God's got a plan for you. Started giving memory verses and just all these things that they were given to me. By the time I got to school, a 3-minute drive, I already gotten like 10 more text messages. I would walk into church and people would be like, hey, let's talk, you know. They would take me on drives, or they would talk to me and really just start to uplift me. And it was unlike anything I'd ever felt before. For people to actually care about me, for people to actually be real and have a real God that they share with me and help me, bring me in this faith. And so as we kept on going, and as y'all kept on encouraging me, y'all, let me, I started getting more encouragement. You know, hey, we're going to go to Acquire the Fire. Why don't you go with us this year? We're going to have a youth service. Why don't you make a drama? Why don't you speak for it? We're going to a youth camp. Can you do a devotional one night? Can you speak on a Wednesday? Can you go to the chrysalis and do this talk that scares the wits out of you because it's the talk that changed your life forever? And can you do that for us and everything? And just God kept on opening doors. And soon enough, I came here full time. You know, I started coming here Wednesdays and Sundays, and every time I could, I was trying to get here because there was something about this place that really just made me feel at home. And, you know, God opened the doors and called this home for me. And so, like, many of you have been asking me over and over and over, Kyle, are you ready for college? Are you ready to go out in the world and start doing stuff? And, you know, I've kind of shrugged off answers, you know. I think I'm ready. I hope I'm ready and everything. But I can tell you right now, without a shadow of a doubt, I am ready to go out there because of the foundation that each and every one of you have given me. Just the blessing that you've been in my life. I mean, y'all are my blessing, and this by no means is goodbye, because, I'm going to be coming back, and I'm going to be visiting, because I can't get away from you crazy people. Over and over again, y'all were, every time I'd get up to speak, or any time I'd be able to do something for y'all would say, y'all are, you're such a blessing, and, you inspire me, but it couldn't be any truer for y'all to me. Is that I couldn't, my dream in life, if I could do one thing for the rest of my life every day, is to get up and go out and share the gospel and then go to bed. I mean, that's my heart, and this is where it all began for me. And this is where y'all have given me opportunity to do this over and over and over again, and it's the biggest blessing in my life just to be able to be given that opportunity. So really all I can do in return is to say thank you, and man, I can't wait for these next few years, and just to be back and to visit with y'all and everything. And so the last thing I really want to leave you with is in Hebrews 10:24 and 25, and I'm sure we hear this one a lot. Let us consider how we may spur one another along toward love and good deeds, and do not give up meeting together, as some are in the habit of doing, but encourage one another all the more as you see the day approaching. So I guess what I would have to say is, for what y'all did for me, just keep on keeping on, Just keep on opening up and doing it, because if I didn't have y'all, I guarantee you I would not be where I am today. So, thank you.